Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 7th of December 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Monday Night Raw. We might have a little issue. If you guys are watching on YouTube, let me know if the video is actually playing for you guys, because for some reason it looks like it may not be going. Give me 1 second. No, it's going. Okay, never mind. I had to refresh it on my end for some reason. Very weird. But with that, we're here live. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I want to say thank you for everyone that's joining us here. And also remember, we're still raising money for families in need that have been displaced by the Creek Fire with everything we do make here on Twitch. Remember, you can help us out with a donation, you can help us out with Twitch bits, or with a subscription, because you can subscribe one of two ways. You can either subscribe with Amazon, you can either subscribe with a tier subscription or with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. With Prime Gaming, that allows you to subscribe to any one Twitch channel that you want to subscribe to throughout the full month, and it doesn't cost you anything extra if you're already paying for Amazon Prime. But with that, we've already raised, I want to say, about $400 so far. I am going to take that money. I've used a little bit of it already to buy some Christmas presents for families I know of with small children that need the help, and I'm going to take the rest of it and buy more Christmas presents, not just for the kids, but for the parents as well. But with that, like I stated, yes, I know Sinclair Saturday, I just changed to that. But with that, also remember, you can be part of the show by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341, as we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. And to be completely honest, I thought tonight's Raw was an okay show. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was all that. I don't want to say I didn't think it was exciting, because there were things that kind of excited me. But overall, I thought it was just an okay episode of Monday Night Raw, if I'm being 100% completely honest. But with that, the show kicked off with Triple H, Vince McMahon, and the Raw roster doing a 10-bell salute for Pat Patterson. They then cut it to, well, Randy Orton opening up the show. Yes, Randy Orton opened the show 2 weeks in a row. So Orton opens up the show here tonight, and he talks about Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss and the Firefly Funhouse and all that kind of good jazz. And as he's doing so, give me 1 second, guys. My camera's bugging out on me. So as he's talking about all of this, the Firefly Funhouse music starts playing. Wyatt, in a sweater, showed up on the screen without Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss is actually right now in Los Angeles filming something, a scene or whatever, for the upcoming Punky Brewster reboot. Devon Dudley did reveal that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are going to be filming stuff for the Punky Brewster show, and that he is there as well as a quote-unquote producer/stunt coordinator. We don't have any more info on this, but to me, that sounds like maybe Alexa and Charlotte are going to be doing like a match on the show, and Devon's there. So here's what this sounds like to me. It sounds a lot like what they did on Fuller House season, I want to say 3 or 4. So I think they're going to be doing a match, Alexa and Charlotte, on the Punky Brewster show, and somehow maybe Punky, maybe Freddie Prinze gets involved, and that's why they need a Devon there as a quote-unquote stunt coordinator to make sure everything goes well with the non-wrestlers that may get involved. Just my prediction based off of what I've heard, but that's why there was no Alexa Bliss tonight. Orton said that he didn't want to play games with Wyatt, and Wyatt says, "Oh, games, you say?" and did his wacky version of, well, The Price is Right. Orton eventually began watching, because at first he wasn't watching, he wasn't paying attention or looking. The puppets were the contestants, and none of them had the right answer when he asked what should the Fiend do to Bray or do to Randy Orton at TLC. Wyatt then got serious and warned Orton that he does have the right answer, though. Orton challenged Wyatt, not the Fiend though, to a match tonight, saying, "I'm going to take on the Fiend at Hell in a Cell, but tonight I want you, Bray Wyatt." Bray then said, "Okay, I'll take you on right now, or I'll take you on tonight." And we got that match in the main event. Pizza King says, "Will she be Funhouse Alexa Bliss?" Talk about it on the show? Highly, highly doubt it. Highly, highly, highly doubt it. I bet you, if it's anything like what they did on Fuller House with wrestling, they probably won't even acknowledge them by name. They'll probably just have them there as two female wrestlers, and maybe Punky gets involved in their match. Just like we saw with DJ getting involved in a wrestling match on Fuller House. That's what I think is going to happen. I mean, they might mention them by name, but I don't think it's anything to be like, oh my God, about. Like, I don't think she's going to have a huge role on the show, either her or Charlotte, but we'll see how it goes. The show's still in production. Again, like I said, they're filming right now. Punky Brewster reboot from the, 80s, early 90s. Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to be on the show, and I bet you this was all set up by him, because remember, Freddie Prinze used to write for WWE. He used to be on the writing team. Going forward, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. The announcement was made, we knew it last Friday, that they'll be defending the tag titles against Asuka and Lana at TLC. They showed social media tributes to Pat Patterson, and then Jax hyped up Baszler before the upcoming match. They planned on hurting Asuka and doing worse to Lana. So we had Raw Women's Champion Asuka against Shayna Baszler in a non-title match. They tried submission attempts early on, but Baszler gave Asuka a back suplex. Excuse me. They went to the outside, so Jax took down Lana, and Baszler shoved Asuka into the announce table. This led to a break about 2 minutes into the match. Baszler worked over Asuka's arm back from the break. Baszler used kicks to the chest, but Asuka caught one and hit a German suplex. Asuka hit a code breaker and tried an arm bar, but Baszler countered Asuka. Asuka then countered Baszler, and that became a distraction there was a distraction by Jax when she was attacking Lana. I really felt like there was too much going on in this match. Just way too much going on in this match. Like, you've got Asuka and Shayna wrestling in the ring, but then you got Lana and Nia doing stuff outside, and then Asuka gets distracted, and then Shayna gets... I felt just they overbooked this match and made it more complicated than it needed to be. Really, in the end, Jax tried to powerbomb Lana on the announce table. Lana sent her into the announce table instead with a leg scissor takedown. Asuka then rolled up to the distracted Baszler to pick up the victory. Again, kind of a waste of time, and way too much shit happened during this match. So the Hurt Business bullied a stagehand backstage, nothing new. They came back from the commercial break with a long recap of last week's main event, as well as replaying a reply of Slapjack replay. Why did I read that so wrong? Fucking dyslexia kicking in. A replay of Slapjack beating Ricochet and Dana Brooke beating Mia Yim, Reckoning. Ricochet and Brooke would team up against Yim and Slapjack tonight. So Riddle would approach Ricochet and Brooke with a box of donuts that he called his bro nuts. They're just trying to make Matt Riddle the dumbest fucking guy ever. Riddle says he's looking for MVP. Ricochet told him that they were too busy strategizing for their match, and Riddle left. Sarah Schreiber then approached Ricochet and Brooke for an interview. Ricochet was opposed to being on a team, but he just didn't want to be on a team with jackasses. Brooke, who had a black eye from her match last week, said she worked too hard to get where she is and had payback ready for Mia Yim. Well, Reckoning, that is. Mustafa Ali said Ricochet and Brooke would reach their end tonight. we had that mixed tag team match that went less than 2 minutes long. Brooke got the pinfall fairly quickly with a Samoan drop on Yim. Ali yelled at her and Slapjack after the match. I don't know where the fuck this is going. Again, another waste of time. Unless it goes somewhere where Mia Yim gets to just be Mia Yim and not reckoning anymore, cool. But if it's just them losing every week and Ali yelling at them, the whole thing is Ali said that he wants to take these guys and make sure that, he said they're guys and a girl that have been overlooked and thought of as losers. But what are they doing? They're losing. So he's got himself a bunch of losers that can't even be coached by him. So, Ali, you're a horrible coach. Just going to say it. So Keith Lee approached Sheamus in the back and again said, I ain't buying the good guy act. Don't turn on your partner, Drew McIntyre. And Sheamus is annoyed, saying, why does everyone keep telling me that? I didn't turn him on him last week, and I'm not going to turn on him tonight. Going forward, they congratulated Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins on the birth of their first child. They actually revealed that Becky had the baby on Friday. Even though she posted the first photo today, she actually had the baby on Friday. We got Miz TV with Miz and Morrison. Miz introduced his tag team partner for the night, AJ Styles, along with Omos, as the guest. Omos stood outside and he said, hey, we can get a chair for him. And AJ goes, that's all right. He likes to stand. So they asked about Styles' upcoming TLC match. Styles admitted that facing McIntyre was a challenge. Styles planned on attacking him with chairs and putting him through every table that he could find. McIntyre's passion won't mean a thing once he's knocked out cold. Styles plans on being on the top of the mountain as WWE champion. Morrison and Miz said that could only happen if McIntyre makes it to TLC. They planned on beating up McIntyre and Sheamus tonight. Miz and Morrison did impressions of McIntyre and Sheamus. They went on for a while. Styles was amused, almost seemed impressed as well. Sheamus would interrupt. He acted entertained, and Sheamus says he's sick of people thinking that he's going to turn on McIntyre. He threatened Miz and Morrison, and they said, well, you're kind of outnumbered here, bud. There's 3 of us, and you're all by yourself. And he goes, oh, you think so, huh? And out would come, well, Drew McIntyre. McIntyre was confident about his match at TLC, even if Styles had Omos on his side. McIntyre gave Miz and Morrison credit for coming back every single week, no matter how many times they get beat up by him. McIntyre said that Maurice has Miz's balls, and Miz is trying to replace them with Morrison's balls, because now Morrison's nothing more than Miz's bitch. Styles made a threat from outside the ring, so McIntyre and Sheamus attacked Miz and Morrison and sent them packing. Another not that great segment. There was a cool spot where McIntyre took the damn Money in the Bank briefcase and threw it so far and so hard that it hit one of the screens up on the top of the stage. Like, all the way up. I thought that was kind of cool. Another tribute to Pat Patterson. Tweets from Roman, Natty, Kurt Angle, Miz, Alexa Bliss, JBL, and Triple H. We then had a singles match. One half of the Raw Tag Team Champions Kofi Kingston against Shelton Benjamin. This match went about 3.5 minutes or so. Benjamin got the early advantage after a knee strike and a boot. Kingston came back with a double foot stomp and a drop kick, but Benjamin countered an SOS into a powerbomb for a 2. Benjamin applied an ankle lock, but Kingston got a rope break. Kingston sidestepped Benjamin on the outside, and Benjamin crashed into the barricade. Benjamin just barely beat the 10 count, but then ate a trouble in paradise upon entering the ring for Kofi to pick up the victory. After the match, Cedric Alexander got pissed and called out Kofi. He said, hey, you want to take me on? You may have beat Shelton, but you ain't going to beat me. Kofi, who was already hobbling after he got hurt in that match, said, you know what? I'll do it. And you hear Woods in the background. They keep asking for matches? Well, just keep giving them matches. I loved it. Woods is just like, yeah, okay, Kofi will take you on. And we had Cedric Alexander versus Kofi Kingston. Kofi worked 2 matches in a row. So the match began during a break, and Alexander was in control when they returned. He worked over the leg that may have been hurt in the previous match. Kingston came back with some chops, and applied a roll-up for a 2. Kingston followed this up with an SOS-ish. Kind of didn't get it all. He got another 2 off of it. Alexander kicked his leg out and then hit him with a brainbuster for a near fall. Kingston fought Alexander off the ropes but missed an axe handle, and Alexander followed with a lumbar check to pick up the victory. So Cedric defeats Kofi Kingston here tonight. So last week Cedric beat Xavier. This week he beats Kofi. Interesting what they're doing here. Shelton got beat, which is weird. Alexander celebrated wildly, but unlike last week, he remained in the ring with his teammates. So going forward, they aired a tremendous Pat Patterson video, the same one we saw on Friday, of Pat singing My Way and a bunch of clips and photos and stuff of Pat Patterson over the years. Samoa Joe and Byron Saxton shared their thoughts on Pat Patterson. We then got a tribute to the troops, which I missed because maybe it came on way too early here, but I never saw it come on. Never saw it come on my local Fox. I did see Ring of Honor come on after the football game, but I didn't see Tribute to the Troops unless it came on at like 9 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock maybe, but I was checking at like 11 on, so maybe it came on at 10 and I missed it. But it was supposed to come on at 1 local time, and I started checking early because I'm like, maybe it's going to come on early. And I don't know. I heard a lot of people tell me that it was a good show. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go back and try to find it. I think it might be replaying sometime this week on FS1. So maybe I could watch it then. If I don't see it, I'm not going to be too up in the arms about it. Like too upset. So about 10 minutes before, well, actually no, 20 minutes before the final hour, the top of the hour here, going into the hour 3, McIntyre made his way out to the ring. They went to break and came back with a Tribute to the Troops recap like I stated. By the time everyone entered the ring, it had been like 10 minutes since McIntyre came out there, so he stood out there for a while. Then they went to a break like 3 minutes into this match. So Sheamus tried to punch Miz outside the ring, but he ducked, and Sheamus lightly hit McIntyre by mistake. McIntyre was slightly annoyed and told him to get his head in the game. Morrison tried wiping them out with a dive, but he was caught, and he was given a fall-away slam over the announce desk. Morrison actually landed on the leather chair, though, which seemed like a happy accident. I don't know if that was supposed to happen, but hey, Morrison's a very agile guy and able to kind of land in precarious positions because of that parkour training. So Sheamus and McIntyre were in full control here. Styles had yet to tag himself in. Kind of didn't even want to be tagged in, to be honest. Styles finally tagged in once he saw McIntyre was vulnerable. Sheamus and McIntyre quickly regained control of Miz. Miz raked Sheamus' eyes as the referee tried to pretend to be distracted, and the heels took over. Styles had Sheamus in the calf crusher, but McIntyre broke it up, and Sheamus followed this up with the white noise. McIntyre made the hot tag and hit Morrison with a clothesline and an overhead suplex. Actually, a couple of them. He also suplexed Morrison and Miz at the same time at one point. McIntyre set up for the Claymore kick, but Miz pulled Morrison out of the ring. Styles would then attack McIntyre from behind, but Sheamus managed to get the tag. Sheamus then wiped everybody out, but then also hit McIntyre with a brogue kick by mistake after Morrison ducked. Styles then gave Sheamus the phenomenal forearm to pick up the victory here tonight. McIntyre just stared right at Sheamus, and nothing really happened yet. So it's like, uh-oh. So going forward, we learned that next week Lana will be facing Nia Jax one-on-one. And Lana must have just been told that because she's freaking out backstage. She goes, I can team with you. We can be a good team. We can maybe even win the women's tag team titles, but I can't take on Nia Jax by myself. What am I going to do? And Asuka goes, calm down. You just need confidence. You just need to say, I can do it. I can do it. Lana then became confident in herself. She turned around and bumped into Nia Jax. Lana just ran away. Charlotte Caruso interviewed Sheamus as he was worried backstage. She asked him about what happened during their match, and Sheamus said, well, it was an accident, but I know McIntyre's going to come out here and want to beat me up and kick my ass. McIntyre then confronted him and said, you know exactly what's about to happen, don't you? Their intense stare down, well, led to a commercial break. came back from the break, and Sheamus and McIntyre were brawling in the back. Officials tried to break them up, and those other wrestlers just watched. Just watched. Pat Buck briefly broke them up, so they beat him up and slammed him through a catering table. Now, here's the thing. Do they both get suspended? Remember when Nia put her hands on Pat Buck? She was suspended. Remember when Randy Orton put his hands on an official in Adam Pearce? He was fined. Well, he put his hands on him, didn't really attack him. But Strowman put his hands on an official and then attacked him. He was suspended indefinitely. So if you really think about it, I doubt it's going to happen, but technically, both Sheamus and McIntyre should be suspended for putting their hands on and putting Pat Buck through the table. McIntyre smiled and asked Sheamus if he wanted some pints. Sheamus said Drew was buying. They left together. Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? They start fighting. Then they team up to put Pat Buck through a table. And all of a sudden, they're just like, ha, 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 let's go have beers. Let's go drink. Like, what the fuck was this? Very weird. It should have just been McIntyre coming back mad and Sheamus going, hey, you saw what happened. He ducked. I accidentally hit you. Complete accident. And McIntyre should have been like, okay, but I'm still going to be a little weary. They shouldn't have fought at all. That was the dumb part. Super stupid that they fought each other. Like, why? Why? Now, if they were already drunk, that would be a different story. If it's like, hey, bro, like if they're both drunk and it's like, hey, bro, why'd you hit me out there? Oh, and then it's like when you go to a party and you got a bunch of drunk people and one drunk person bumps into another one and like makes them trip and then they start fighting because it was an accident, but the drunk guy don't, you know? This was dumb. There was no reason for them to be fighting the way they did. It ridiculous. So, in the back, Riddle approached Jeff Hardy with his bro nuts. Riddle thought that the Hardy Boys were one of the greatest tag teams, but if they teamed together, they could be the Hardy Bros. I think Matt kind of messed up the line a little. Hardy seemed moderately amused, but told him, I got to head to the ring. I got a match. And Riddle took a bite of one of the donuts. So going forward, we had U.S. champion Bobby Lashley against Jeff Hardy in a non-title match. Hardy went to the top, so MVP went up on the apron to distract him. Riddle would then run down and yank MVP down. He took down Lashley with a clothesline, Hardy did, and knocked him off the apron, which led to a break. Lashley posted Hardy during the break to take control. Lashley got in Riddle's face at one point, but Riddle didn't back down. Lashley had a sleeper on Hardy, and then he reversed it into a jawbreaker. He hit a clothesline, atomic drop, leg drop, and a low drop kick for a 2. Hardy followed with a whisper in the wind for a 2. Lashley then hit a flatliner, got a 2 of his own, and then Hardy responds with a twist of fate. Lashley did avoid a swanton bomb and nailed a spear, and then applied the hurt lock to make Jeff Hardy tap out. So, Jeff Hardy does lose. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to block somebody here in the YouTube chat. Give me that. Da, 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 da. Bingo. All right, took care of that person. So Lashley wouldn't let go of the hold after the match, and Riddle went to break it up, but Lashley chucked Hardy into Riddle, knocking them both over. MVP bit a donut and, well, chucked the box down. Orton was in the back, and he heard a knock on the door, so he opened it, but there was nothing there. Then, Ramblin' Rabbit, the puppet, would suddenly appear behind the door. And he told Orton they were going to have so much fun. Just so much fun. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Orton was staring at the puppet as if it was actually speaking to him. And it was a little weird. A little awkward. More Pat Patterson tribute tweets. Tom Phillips mentioned that TLC is 1 week from this Sunday, which is a weird way to phrase it. Oh, I don't know. Should have just said in less than 2 weeks. So we get Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt here. Wyatt wore black jeans and a brown sweater. Orton wrestled in his gear. And we learned by the end why Wyatt had to be so covered up. I think. I'll give my theory on the end here in a minute. So Orton tried a back suplex on the announce table, but Wyatt countered and hit a back suplex on the edge of the table instead. Wyatt chased Phillips away, grabbed the headset, and said, "Yowie, wowie, it's time for a break." Let me try that again. That was more of a Christopher Walken. He said, "Yowie, wowie, it's time for a break." So they go to break. Very weird kind of way to do it. And it was less than 2 minutes into the match, too, but that's how WWE does it. They start a match. About a minute or two later, they go to commercial, so then they can try to get most of that match in. So when they came back, Orton was in control, and Wyatt was just smiling and laughing as Orton stomped him. Orton barely got a 1 count after a knee and followed it up with a chin lock. They piped in some crowd noise and clapping to encourage Wyatt to fight back. Wyatt came back with clotheslines and an atomic drop, a running clothesline, running body block, and a DDT for a 2, which is actually Edge's Impaler DDT. I liked that little homage there. Orton followed this up, though, with a neck breaker and got a 2 of his own, and then he gave him a back suplex on the announce desk. Wyatt almost got the Sister Abigail, but Orton thumbed him in the eye and hit a draping DDT. The lights then started to go out, and as the lights were out about 75%, Orton hits an RKO. The lights go out all the way, and when the lights come back on red, the Fiend is in the ring, not Bray Wyatt. He would then attack Orton, put him in the mandible claw, and Orton, I don't know if Orton, you could say Orton passed out. I don't know about that, but Orton was down as the show went off the air. Very interesting way to do it. So I have 2 theories on how they would have done this, and I'm looking into it to see if I can find out exactly which one they did. Either when the lights went out, they had a way for Bray to change really fast, which I doubt is the way they did it, because I don't think he can put the mask on that fast, take the sweater off, and he would have had to have been wearing 2 pair of pants. That would have been very uncomfortable. What I think they did was pre-tape this match to where the lights go out. They then pause, turn the lights on. Bray changes real fast. Lights back out. Red light. Then they finish for the 90 seconds that they needed. That's what I think they did. I think it was a pre-taped match where they taped it in 2 parts-ish, where they took a break after the lights go out. Bray changes, and then they do that spot. So, I mean, it's stuff they can do without a real live crowd there. So that's good. But correct me if I'm wrong. When the lights came back on red, were there the fans on the screens still? Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because we know that WWE is recording everybody so that way they can reuse them. Because we know that. Because, well, people don't go into the CWSC live, but they have fans on the screens. So those are all pre-recorded stuff from Thunderdome. So never mind. My question was null and void anyways. But with that was Monday Night Raw. Remember, guys, you can be part of tonight's show by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341, as we do have a couple of text messages here. Person says, any news on the new Thunderdome at Tropicana Field going to have fans? As of right now, the plan is for no fans, but they're contemplating how they would need to go to maybe have fans there for the Rumble. If anything else, at least the Rumble event. I know this is random, but if you put Sami Zayn in a blue jumpsuit, he looks like Daniel Bryan on the Wyatt family. Not really, because Sammy's hair is way curlier than Bryan's and way more red. Not Raw related, but do you watch the Pat McAfee show on YouTube? I heard he might have a spinal injury. It was his thumbnail from his video. So I saw that, and it's called Playing It Up. Pat McAfee wore a neck brace on his show, stating that he may have suffered a spine injury because he's still working. He's still in wrestler mode. He's selling the injuries from War Games. He's fine. If Pat McAfee was actually hurt, we would have knew about it last night or before he even went live on his show this morning. It's only Pat McAfee selling the injuries, trying to make it seem worse than it was because, hey, he's a performer just like everybody else, and Pat don't stop. Pat McAfee don't stop. Mercer says, I like how they had both Sheamus and McIntyre play off the bro kick. Well done. They sure are trying to make us think Nia and Shayna are losing the belts. I mean, there's a good chance. Person said they had to pre-tape the match because there's no way that Wyatt would have had all that gear on under the sweater. He would have passed out. Well, no, he can wear the tank top. He just would have had 2 pair of pants on, and that would have been a bitch to wrestle in. And then the mask, I don't know, but it doesn't look like a mask you throw on in 10 seconds. Like, because he had to take the sweater off, take the pants off, and put the mask on. I don't think they would have been able to do that fast enough. Person says, who's the babyface in Orton versus Fiend? TLC feud. By the end of the night, it seems Orton is the babyface. True, but they piped in fucking babyface chants for the Fiend. So I have no godly idea. Person says, 2 questions. If Drew McIntyre retains his WWE... Yeah, loud car going by. Distracted me. Person says, if Drew McIntyre retains his WWE Championship against AJ Styles at TLC, which he's going to, I add that in, we'll see potential McIntyre versus Sheamus next year, either at Royal Rumble or before that. I think, to be honest, Sheamus should win the Rumble. Here's my pitch. So, Sheamus and McIntyre, they're buds, they're bros. They had a little incident tonight, but they're going to shake it off. I think Sheamus wins the Rumble. Gets the match against McIntyre. They go through Elimination Chamber in February, and they do March and whatnot, and everything's hunky-dory. But about 2-3 weeks before WrestleMania, we really start that build of WrestleMania, and Sheamus is talking about, or McIntyre's in the ring, talking about how he's going to face one of his best friends at WrestleMania. That, you know, they're friends, but when it comes to the title, they're going to have to actually fight. That is when Sheamus attacks McIntyre from behind and tells him, I've been trying to get you off your game this whole time. I've been trying to get under your skin. I've been trying to let you get your guard down against me. Winning the Rumble just solidified what I've been doing this whole time in trying to get a match against you when your guard's down. That's what I think should happen. And then we go into WrestleMania with Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. If you remember, we reported before the draft that the plan for McIntyre was to have a big program and big match with Sheamus. I wasn't told when that match would happen, but I think it should happen at WrestleMania. Person says, do you think AJ Styles will beat McIntyre at TLC? No, because AJ getting that match was never the plan in the first place. Braun Strowman was supposed to get that match at TLC. Braun got injured, knee injury at Survivor Series, so they threw AJ in there. I don't think Braun was going to beat McIntyre either. So AJ going in there, they just said, all right, we can't do the Braun thing we wanted to do. Who's going to get the best match out of him? AJ Styles. Bada bing, bada boom, there you go. Or says, Mad G from NY. WWE thinks they're going to get one over the fans with their piped-in, pre-recorded fan noise, especially with the Miz TV segment. The TV screen's just hideous, if you ask me. Well, we're going to get more of that, because from the pictures we saw today, inside the Tropicana Field Thunderdome, they're trying to make it look the exact same. Trying to make it look as similar to the Amway Center Thunderdome as possible. So, you're going to get more of the same. And this person, to round it out, says, I saw your tweet about Seth and Roman. Why not have Rock at WrestleMania and challenge Reigns? I mean, you could, but who knows if Rock's going to be available. I know fans would like to see Rock, but if we're thinking logically here, if we're thinking logically here, when's the last time Rock wrestled a match? Against Cena. Because movie studios don't want him wrestling. So, a perfect way, in my opinion, to bring back Seth Rollins and bring him back as the babyface is to bring him back in Roman Reigns. If you guys didn't see my tweet, here's basically what I said. Roman, big-ass heel. He's got Jey Uso doing his dirty work. Jimmy can come back at the beginning of the year, start doing his dirty work as well. Nobody can take down Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens fails. Daniel Bryan fails. Well, who do we need? A savior. Who is a savior? A Messiah is a savior. But you do it in a way where he comes back and slowly transitions to being a babyface and says, Roman, I know this isn't you. I don't know why you're acting like this, but you can't keep acting like this. Someone needs to stop you, and I'm here to save SmackDown because I am the Chief Slayer. That's what I think they should do. So technically, I already booked out their WrestleMania as far as the main matches go. Boom. Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, WWE Championship, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Universal title match. I mean, you're good. You're golden. There you go. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here as we talked about Monday Night Raw. Thank you for joining me here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, we will be live again on Wednesday for the AEW Dynamite and NXT reviews. So with that, follow us on other social media platforms as well. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. So with that, guys, have a great, great night. And we'll see you on Wednesday.